Hello everybody, can you see this very long building over there? So how this has been made so long, so big? Is this has been made in such a blink? No, right? It's like a small stones, small bricks. It gets accumulated and then such a big flat has been made. So this is only called as a facade design pattern, where a big building or a big thing will not be made in such a blink. It will be divided into small subsystems, and which automatically comes over another, and then it will bring us to the building. Okay, it brings us to make such a big thing. It can be restaurant, it can be coffee vending machine, it can be a building, it can be a restaurant, it can be a big hotel, it can be anything. Okay, but a very large thing starts with a very small systems. Okay, so building a very big thing from a small subsystems, this is only called as a facade design pattern. So now let's understand how this all things works together. So let's understand that. Hi guys. So let's understand facade design pattern, which is one of the strategy design pattern, and it's important for interview perspective as well as in a project perspective, where we will be working on this real-time scenarios with the help of this design pattern. So facade design pattern is very much important. Okay. So now let's understand step by step like how this will work. Okay. I hope you can see my screen now. So let's understand how to can you master a facade design pattern with real-time scenario-based questions. Okay, so that you can crack the interview like anything. So what is a facade? Okay, so facade, the literal meaning will be like how can you simplify the complex problem into small subsystem with very much simplicity. That is a literal meaning of facade. And that has been converted into a design pattern. Okay, because if you want to build a big thing, okay, so how can clients interact with that particular thing? So client needs to understand each and every subsystem's functionalities, right, to interact with that and then to get the particular output. So with this, let's understand some of the examples so that you can get the idea of it, like what I'm trying to say. Okay, so these are the agenda for this session basically. So first of all, it will be introduction. Okay, what is facade design pattern? And then real-time scenario-based questions. Okay, implementation steps, code walkthrough. Okay, and some scenario-based questions. So first of all, we'll be discussing like some what are the real-time scenarios that where facade will be helpful. Then some scenario-based questions, and then summaries and some takeaways. Okay. So introduction that we have already told you, a structural pattern, it's a structural. So there are three type of design patterns, right? One is creational, structural, and third is behavioral. So this is one of the structural design pattern that provides a simplified interface to a complex subsystem. Okay, so there will be one complex subsystem. Okay, so you can imagine it as a coffee vending machine, okay, or a normal vending machine where tea, coffee, hot water, everything is given to us, right, in a just a button click. So how does it gives to us in just a click of a button? So that means internally what is happening is abstract to us. Okay, we don't know that. So that in total internally is abstraction for us. Okay, so internally there is a subsystem which actually mixes milk, it mixes some water, it mixes something. So internally the client doesn't know. So who is using that vending machine? We as an employees, we are using that vending machine, and internally we are not knowing what is happening. So from outside we are just clicking that we want cappuccino, or we want normal tea, or we want milk, or we want hot water. Just we are clicking it, and then then it gets poured onto a cup. Okay, and we are getting whatever we want. Okay, so that means what, we no need to understand the functionality like how tea has been prepared, how cappuccino has been prepared, how lot of things are prepared within that vending machine. Okay, so that doesn't need to be known to us. So this is only known as a facade design pattern, where the entire complex subsystem is broken into smaller subsystems, and then we are clients are not required to know how those subsystems are working. Just we are interacting with that facade. Okay, so facade is that coffee vending or normal vending machine, that is a facade for the client. Okay, we are the client. And internally, there are a lot of things that can be prepared through that facade. So facade will understand the client's requirement, and that will be given to a particular set of instructions which the client needs. Okay, so client needs what? Client needs cappuccino. So we are interacting with the facade, which is a vending machine, and from vending machine it gives instruction to prepare that cappuccino and give it to the client. So internally there is a subsystem who is preparing that cappuccino. There is some logic has been written. Okay, so that once it's prepared, it has been returned back and given to the facade, and facade gives it back to the client. So this is a common source of connection between subsystem and the client. Okay, I hope you got the idea like how facade design pattern is working. Okay, so this was a general introduction regarding facade design pattern. So this is used in a restaurant. Okay, so in a restaurant, if you are going, so it hides all the kitchen complexities. We don't know like those or what are menus are present, okay, in a particular restaurant, how those menus are being prepared, how those dishes are being prepared. We don't know that, right? So that is a facade basically. So we are directly interacting with the waiter. Okay, waiter takes our order. Okay, so waiter, you can consider it as a facade over here. So waiter will take our order, and then it will tell you like we have to wait for 5-10 minutes. After 5-10 minutes, you will get your order back at your table. So that is a facade basically. So you don't need to know how to prepare those dishes which you have asked for. Okay, you will just get it at your table. Similarly, coffee vending machine, which I've already told you. So at the end, how we can understand it, we can understand it as a wrapper to simplify the client's interaction. Okay, so previously what was the problem? Basically the client needs to know each and everything about a subsystem, like how coffee will be prepared. We will be mixing some milk, we will be mixing sugar, we will be mixing some other materials as well to prepare that cappuccino. Okay, but now those things are not required to be known to client. Okay, so just in a click of a button, that simplified thing we need to be given to the client. Okay, we should not make the thing more complex. So that is meaningful for the facade design pattern. Okay, so let's understand one real-time scenario-based question that can be asked in an interview, or you can be made use of it in your projects as well. Okay, so we'll be seeing through code walkthrough step by step, and then we'll be understanding what is the real-time scenario where facade design pattern can be used. Okay, so here if you can observe, there is a problem statement. So there is one hotel. Okay, so hotel is there, then restaurants is there, and then there is a hotel keeper, and then there is a client. Okay, so here client will interact not with the restaurant directly. Client will interact with the hotel keeper. Okay. So with the help of hotel keeper, client will get informed like what kind of restaurant you want to go to. Okay. So client will ask for the hotel keeper like what and all menus are there for veg as well as non-veg. Okay. So veg menu will be given to the client if client is interested in veg, or non-veg menu will be given to the client if client is interested in non-veg restaurants. Okay, so once that menu is given, then client will decide like the food will be ordered from which particular restaurant. Okay, so these all restaurants are connected with a hotel. Okay, so one hotel can have multiple restaurants, right? So it may have veg, it may have non-veg. Okay, so yeah, these are the requirements. So initially client will not directly interact with the hotel. Okay, so there is multiple subsystems connected in between, which simplifies the interaction with the client, and that is hotel keeper, which will be acting as a facade in between. Okay, so now how we can prepare this, how we can write the code for this, can you little bit think on it? I hope you can understand it. Like for writing code, what all things will be required as a high level design, what all things are required to be known. Okay, so first and foremost thing is hotel keeper, which will be acting as a facade. Okay, internally hotel keeper will do something, right? Hotel keeper will take the order from the client, or will take the information from the client, then hotel keeper will give the information to the restaurant. Okay, so now what restaurant will do over here? Restaurants are having some like what all type of restaurants are there, like veg restaurant, non-veg restaurant. Okay, and then within that there will be some menu option also, right? So in each and every restaurant there will be certain set of menu options. Okay, so that also needs to be set. So these in link of connections needs to be created via facade design pattern. Okay, so this hotel keeper will be what? This hotel keeper will be an interface where the client will be interacting with. Okay, and then there is one menu. Okay, that menu can be abstract class or it can be a normal class as well. So within that there will be like veg restaurant or non-veg restaurant, what is there, that needs to be connected with it together. Okay, so there will be like three things. First is menu, second is type of restaurant, it can be veg, non-veg. Third is hotel keeper, which is an interface. Then hotel keeper implementation, which implements this hotel keeper. And then there will be a client driven program from where client will interact with the hotel keeper. So let's understand through code like how the systems are going to communicate with each other. Okay, so let's understand that. So let me share the code with you so that you can understand it deeply. Okay, So first of all, what will be there? Okay, if you start understanding from the low level perspective, so first of all, it will be a menu. Okay, so menu will be having list of food items. So for a particular customer, there will not be one food item, right? Within a menu, there can be multiple list of food items. So for the sake of simplicity, I have taken list of string. I have not taken list of food. Okay, so here you can create one more class. Okay, a food DTO class you can create. Okay, and that you can add it over here. So it will be a little bit more complex. So I have not added that. So you can create it by your own. So for simplicity purpose, I've taken list of string for food items. I've added getter and setter for it. Okay, so this is one of the thing. And then I told you about the veg and non-veg menu also will be there, right? So let's understand the menu. So veg menu extends menu. Okay, so how veg menu dishes will be prepared? Okay, it is there in the main menu part, right? So veg menu will extend the menu class, and then it will be overriding the toString method, and the veg menu will be veg menu constructor will be created over here. Okay, so if you want, you can override that method, or if you don't want, it's not required. Okay, because it's a normal class. Okay, so veg menu constructor will be having the list of food items over here. Okay, this is a veg menu part. Then there is a non-veg menu also there, which extends menu, and same thing will be there. We have to override toString method over here. Otherwise, it will not show the exact menu details. It will show just the hash code of it. Okay, then these all menus will be prepared where? In a particular restaurant only, right? So I have created restaurant for the same. Okay, so here you can see like veg restaurant is there, then non-veg restaurant is there. So let's understand veg restaurant. So this veg restaurant implements hotel. Okay, so veg and non-veg restaurants are connected with a particular hotel that we have seen through the diagram, right? So veg restaurant, if you see, it implements hotel. So within hotel, what is there? Within hotel, if you see, it is having menu. Okay, we are getting the menu from the hotel only. Okay, I hope you are getting the connection between them. So within the veg restaurant, it is overriding the get menu method which is present within hotel interface. Okay, then within that we are creating the object of veg menu, which was a class. Okay, and then within that we are adding the menu. So because in all the restaurants, whether you are going for veg or whether you are going for non-veg, it just don't change dynamically, right? The menu option will remain the same until unless some materials get finished or those things are not happening. Till that time, menus will remain the same for us. Okay, so for simplicity purpose, I have just added 4 dishes over here: pulao, paneer butter masala, jeera rice, and tandoori roti. Okay, so these are the menu for veg items. Okay, and for non-veg, if you are going, so in non-veg menu, it is also extending menu. Okay, and within that we are having toString method. And let's understand non-veg restaurant. In non-veg restaurant, we have added some dishes over here. Okay, we didn't get menu method. We are having chicken rogan josh, chicken biryani, fish fry, mutton kosa. These are some of the dishes within non-veg restaurant. Okay, so now we have connected hotel with restaurant with menu. So hotel, restaurant, menu, these all are completed now. So what is our next step? There needs to be a facade, right, which needs to interact with the client. So for that, we have created one hotel keeper interface which will act as a facade. So within that, we have added veg menu for getting the veg menu, non-veg menu for getting the non-veg menu. So entire complex system has been divided into smaller subsystems now. Okay, so how this hotel keeper will work? We need an implementation class for that as well, right? So there is a hotel keeper implementation class. Okay, so hotel keeper implementation implements this hotel keeper interface. So we have to override 2 methods present within them, right? One is get veg menu, second is get non-veg menu. So within get veg menu, we are creating the object of veg restaurant over here, and then we are creating the object of veg menu over here. Okay, and within that we are typecasting it to veg menu type. Okay, because veg restaurant can have veg as well as non-veg menu, right? So we need to downcast it to like which particular restaurant you want. So we want veg menu type. So veg menu, we need to downcast it. Similar to non-veg also. For non-veg, we are downcasting it to non-veg menu. Okay, I hope you got the clarity. And then we are returning this veg menu and non-veg menu. Now let's go to client. Now client will interact with this hotel keeper. Hotel keeper will interact with hotel keeper IMPL. Internally, it will interact with the restaurants, and then from restaurant, it will interact with the menu. It will fetch the menu, and then it will go back to the hotel keeper then it will interact with the client. So this is the entire process of facade process within hotel. So if you come over here, I've created some menu driven program. Okay. So in our small days, we used to write menu driven programs, right? So similar to that, I tried to mimic it. Okay. So I've created the object of hotel keeper implementation and stored it in hotel keeper. It's like upcasting. Then this while true, this process will keep on happening until and unless the person is not telling you to stop. Okay. And then we are asking to the client, like, what's your choice of restaurant, like you want veg restaurant or non-veg restaurant. Correspondingly, we will be moving ahead with. Okay. Then we are taking that choice through scanner. So scanner is a class. With the help of that reference, we can take the next item element from the customers. Okay. So what's the choice of the restaurant you want, veg or non-veg? So customer can insert veg or non-veg. So for that, we have added some switch case over here. Okay. So if you see over here, I have added switch case over this choice. Okay. Then I've added like case, what you want, veg or non-veg. So correspondingly, we are defining it. So if customer is asking for veg, then veg will be chosen over here. Then we are getting the veg menu over here. And then we are showing the veg menu to the client. And accordingly, now client will ask like what particular dishes that person wants. And similar to non-veg, for non-veg, hotel keeper will bring the non-veg menu to the client, and then client will now see, after looking at the menu, non-veg menu, that what all dishes client wants to have. Okay. And otherwise, if it is not having veg or non-veg, then it will print like enter valid choice, the choice is not proper. Okay. So again, it will ask like, do you want to proceed further or not? Okay. So if the choice is yes, I want to proceed further, again it will continue to do the same thing. Okay. It will ask like whether you want veg menu or non-veg menu. Okay. And then if choice is no, then it will print thank you for dining in at our restaurant. So here I have omitted one functionality of adding order, that you can add it in this particular code. Okay, I will share this code with you. So what you can do, you can just write one functionality, one method you can write, where there will be while true, while true will be there, and within that it will take the order from the customer. Okay, like there will be like hundreds of dishes present in a menu, right? You are getting me, right? So there can be hundred of dishes present in a menu. So customer cannot have all the dishes present in a menu. Customer will order few dishes only from that veg or non-veg menu. Okay. So that functionality also needs to be implemented. So it will take some time. Okay. So I want you to implement that and let me know in the comment box that you have done that. Okay. And share with me the same. Okay. So I have omitted that functionality. I've just added the menu functionality where veg and non-veg menus will be shown to the client. Okay. Yeah. So if there is any other option, then it will tell you to enter proper inputs. Okay. And at the end, if I'm checking that the object reference for the scanner is leaking or not, otherwise there is a memory leakage that may happen. So if it is leaking, we are going to close over there. So this is the menu driven program that I have created for you all. Okay, so now let's run the code and let me show you like how this is working internally. Okay, so let me run it. Run as Java application. So now enter your choice of your restaurant. So I am choosing veg. So it is showing me veg restaurant menu. Okay, entire set of dishes present in the veg restaurant. Now, do you want to proceed further? Yes, I want to proceed further. So now enter your choice of restaurant. So I am putting like non-veg I want now. Okay, so now it is showing me non-veg items, all the non-veg items it is showing me now. Okay, so now it is telling me, do you want to proceed further? No, I don't want to proceed because I've already seen all the menus present in the restaurant. So I don't want to proceed. So at the end it will print thank you for dining in, and the program is closed now. Okay, you can see there is no red button over here. I hope you got the entire concept, like how this facade design pattern is working internally. So this was the real-time scenario, how facade design pattern is being worked. Okay, and where it can be used in real-time scenarios. So let's understand some of the advantages and disadvantages for facade design pattern. Okay, so advantages, if we consider, then the interface is very much simplified. Okay, so it simplifies the use and understanding of a complex system by offering a clear and concise interface. So there is one concise interface which is hotel keeper over there, which we have shown you just now, and it will interact with the client as well as in the backend subsystems. Okay, so it simplifies the entire process and it hides the internal details as well, right? So that's where abstraction come into place over here. So a facade is nothing but an abstraction of internal subsystems. So you will not be able to know like what internal functionality is happening. Okay, so that already will be taken care of. Okay, so that there is no cognitive load over the client. Then reduced coupling, so client become less reliant on the internal working of the underlying subsystems. Okay, so client will not be knowing that, and client will just get whatever the client wants. Okay, so it encourages the reusability of those code components. Okay, and then it allows for independent testing. Okay, so all the components, all the subsystem components can be tested individually as well. Okay, like those subsystems are working fine or not, so they are not tightly coupled with each other, so those individual subsystem can be developed and tested individually as well. Okay, and then you can test the entire system. Then there's an encapsulation, so entire complex interaction with the subsystems is encapsulated to protect the client from the changes and its implementation, so that client doesn't need to know that. So entire system will also get saved. Okay, and the client will also need to know everything, so client will not need to worry about all those things happening internally. Okay, so it allows for changes to the subsystem without affecting client, as long as the facade interface remains stable. So that interface needs to be stable. That is a one single point of contact. That is one disadvantage as well, so that I will be coming to you. Okay, then improved maintainability, so easier to change or extend the underlying system without affecting clients, as long as facade remains constant. And then it allows for refactoring and optimization. Okay, so if you want to scale your microservice to a very larger extent, like millions of customers are coming, so at that level also it will be optimizable. Okay, so facade design pattern is helpful in scalability part as well. So before designing anything, we have to design HLD part of it, like high level design. Then only you can go ahead to code it. Then you have to see like which design pattern will be helpful if this particular code needs to be scaled at a very high level. So improving maintainability purpose also we need to think. Okay, this is also one of the thing. Then some disadvantage, let's discuss. So disadvantage contains like increased complexity. Adding the facade layer, it increases little bit complexity over the abstraction layer. Okay, abstraction is itself a little complex thing. We need to know the entire process. If you don't know the entire process, you will not be able to get the code. Okay, how this code is written. So we need to have the clear vision in our mind how this facade design pattern is working. Then only you can understand the flow within it. Okay, so code becomes a little bit more difficult to understand, but if you practice it, it will become very easy for you. Okay, reduce flexibility. So facade acts as a single point of access to the underlying subsystems. So this can limit the flexibility for the client. How? So let's suppose client now wants to interact face to face with the particular subsystem. So that will not be possible. So it will be a little bit difficult to access the specific functionalities by the client within the subsystems. So it reduces the flexibility over that. So client needs to interact only with the facade, not with the subsystems. Okay, it abstracts that functionalities from the client. Then over engineering. So applying the facade pattern to very simple subsystem can be very overkilling. Okay, it adds unnecessary complexity which is not needed. Okay, and considers the cost benefit trade-off before implementing facade. We have to understand like how much cost we need to bear before implementing that. There are a lot of inbuilt functionalities that has to be prepared, so it has to be little bit cost effective also, right? So that also needs to be understood. Then there is a potential performance overhead. So it adds an extra layer of abstraction while interacting with the client. So if the system is small or that system is not very much big to prepare, so we don't need facade design pattern over there, right? It unnecessarily increases the complexity of the entire code, so it impacts the performance as well slightly. Okay, so this may not be significant for most application, but it's worth to consider in performance critical scenarios. Okay, so I hope this you have understood like what are the advantages and disadvantages of facade design pattern. So this is the entire flow. And with the next set of videos, we'll be discussing some other topics with respect to design patterns as well. So stay tuned for that. And if you like my video, please like, share, and subscribe so that we'll be discussing over some such set of different concepts as well in the upcoming videos. So I hope you got the clarity. So ping me in the chat box or in the comment box below, like how much you have understood and what type of real-time scenarios can you think of, and then have you added that order functionality as well in the code. Okay, that also you ping it down in the comment box below. So see you in the next video. Still that, it's Debsi Try signing off. Bye bye.